Welcome to the Black Sparrow Media Internet Broadcast Network.
You are listening to Linux in the Ham Shack. LHS is a podcast about Linux, open source, and amateur radio for everyone. Now here are your hosts, Russ, K52UX, Cheryl, W5MOO, and Bill, NE4RD.
Well, hello everybody and welcome. You have tuned in to episode number 468 of Linux in the Ham Shack, the most terrific amateur radio podcast on the internet. And you have tuned into our, well, what will replace our deep dive episode number 468, as previously stated, which is going to be our hopefully relatively brief wrap up of Hamvention 2022. We have just returned from there. Everybody made it back home safe. And we're going to talk a little bit about what we did, what we saw, who we met, and then we'll let you get on with the rest of your lives. But before we go ahead and do that, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Russ, K5TUX.
I'm Cheryl, W5MOO.
And I'm Bill, NE4RD.
All right. So, we went to Hamvention 3 days in May that are not 4 days in May. Did 4 days in May thing? Was that a thing? Did that happen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. See, I'm already out of it. I don't know anything that's going on. Well, as I know, as we went to Hamvention, got very little sleep, and then we came home. So that's my summary of what happened.
Isn't that like every other Hamvention, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly like every other Hamvention. Precisely. But we did meet people. We met lots and lots of people. We tried out some new stuff at the booth, like we had our USB replicator, which seemed to be a relatively big hit. We didn't do a lot of copies, mostly because people didn't bring USB sticks, but I think that will definitely be a better thing going forward. It certainly seemed worth the while. We also had lots of people pick up our distribution or download it or go to the website. And except for one of the TVs losing its backlight halfway through the show, I think our technology works pretty well. We wound up not recording it all on site, so that's why we're kind of doing this now. So I'm going to let Bill go ahead and start off with the sights and sounds of Linux in the Ham Shack at Hamvention, and I guess I'll just have Cheryl and I interject where we need to or something.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, Hamvention. Geez, I guess I'll just do a quick overview from my perspective. I had two booths.
We don't need to talk about that other one. Not every.
Yeah, I won't mention the other one. You guys can just guess what that one was. But so I was traveling a little bit back and forth, especially on Friday afternoon, because I had a cancellation for my booth helpers. I can. Friday was pretty busy. I think Friday seemed to be the busier day of the three, which is slightly odd for Hamvention. Normally Friday is kind of, that's kind of hit and miss. Saturday is normally a huge busy day, but this one seemed to play a little different. Definitely Friday was the busy day. Saturday kind of was busy, but it felt like it was missing something. And it might just be that I was missing people. Sunday was dead. So
I think Sunday this time was a little busier than the past.
I kind of agree with that. I feel like Sunday we did better this year than in 2019 for sure.
I think we packed up early on Sunday before, though. I think we kind of stayed till, we didn't pack up till noon.
Yeah, but I think we were justified in packing up in years past, and this year we actually had. We probably could have packed up maybe a half hour earlier, but until then, we actually had a pretty steady stream, which is not what I can say for Saturday. That's why it felt weaker. because on Friday it was just nonstop, open to close. And Saturday there were big gaps in the traffic. So
yeah, so much so like about 3:30, it felt like it was the end of the day, and it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. And the thing is, at 3:30, that was pretty well the end of the day. We only had a handful of people show up after 3:30.
Yeah.
So,
I think the weather was kind of impending and kind of scaring some people off Saturday afternoon, but surely that couldn't have been the only thing that scared them away, or maybe they just weren't there, one or the other.
right.
We heard tell that sort of around that time in the afternoon on Saturday that the flea market was basically just evaporating. People were just disappearing from outside. I didn't get a chance to walk around the flea market this time, as I rarely ever do. I think I may have done it once, and that was back at Hera. But people were coming by and saying that, the flea market's empty. Everyone's left already. So, and we thought maybe that would bring people inside, but apparently when the flea market disappeared, so did everyone else. So, yeah,
I didn't get a look at the flea market either. I just saw the few little ones that were like at the end of our building because there were bathrooms right there.
Yeah, right.
So that's about the only extent. I think I walked around and just looked at the table for a second. I was like, okay, well, they don't really have anything here. We don't generally get exciting tables right near Building 5. But yeah, I think overall, I've seen several people put notes out there on the blogospheres and stuff like that, and they're all kind of saying the same thing. It's like, yeah, it looks like it was probably about like 2/3 of normal, maybe a little bit less. I mean, we'll have to wait and see on the official head count through the gate at probably like in a month when Dara finally releases those numbers, but definitely seemed pretty light. I heard tell that the vendors were still getting quite a bit of sales on the inside, so it probably didn't impact them so much because apparently people were there and willing and ready to spend some money on some new gear and stuff like that. But who knows? Maybe we'll get some more numbers, some more real numbers. We're just getting indications that the sales were pretty good. Let's see. We had a few visitors at the booth. I have two here. One, I didn't even talk to this one here. This is the Morcerino 32. Did you talk to them?
I don't recall talking to them. That does not sound familiar to me. So
yeah, they were just down the hall from us, and I think they were paired up with the CW Ops booth. And this is basically a product. It's a new way to learn and practice Morse code. It's a keyer, code generator, echo trainer, decoder, and everything else. And it looks like it's on a single board computer. And they dropped the card, so I think maybe we'll chat with them. We'll have to take a look at the product and see how open sourcey it is and stuff like that. Morcerino.info. So we'll check that out. Another one I talked with Dan Babcock, N4XWE. He was manning the Tapper booth down the hall from us as well, and he was showing me some of the work he's doing with his Raspberry Pi and some build scripts and stuff like that. Very akin to Build-A-Pie and Ham Pie and stuff like that, but very, very, kind of still in the script level. Let's just say that. No user interface and stuff like that, but doing some configuration, advanced configuration for the Raspberry Pi. And I told him we'd give him a shout out later on and talk to him about what he's doing and how that's progressing, and maybe a little bit about what's going on with Tapper and what they do and stuff like that. So definitely a possibility on a future podcast. And who else did you say stopped by and you talked to?
Well, I talked to a gentleman from Phase Doc, and his name was Chris Landbauer. I'm going to assume that's somewhere close. There's a lot of extra vowels. But anyway, his card is here, and he gave me a little dossier on their product, which is kind of it's an assemblage. It's a thing to organize your projects that use Raspberry Pis or other single board computers and Arduinos. They're little modular plastic mounts that you can put your boards on to create sort of a modular layout. And then there's a bigger case that goes around them. And there's like holes in them so that you can put things in different positions, run wires through. And he said in future iterations, there's supposed to be a modular power supply that's supposed to go along with it to provide 3 volt, or 3.3, 5 volt, and 12 volt power to whatever you've got in this thing. And I believe we are going to make an effort to talk to them further about this product. And it sounds interesting. It looks interesting. And if you want to find out more about it before we talk to them, let's see, it says it's, was it phasedoc.com? Yeah, phasedoc.com. So we'll talk to somebody from phasedoc.com coming up. And, I mean, we had lots and lots of people at the booth, but these are the ones who basically turned into upcoming programs. I don't recall or any other folks. I think there were a couple others that we may touch on via email, but I don't have them here in front of me, so I don't remember what they are. And I remember I was supposed to go back and talk to or go back to the ARDC booth, but when I went over there, Dan was not there anymore. I did not see him again after his pre-show visit. And
yeah.
What was the other guy who's big with ARDC? He came by the booth and he talked to me for a while. I was talking to him about grants and stuff.
I believe that's
It was like John, maybe.
I have the card. I think it is John, but I just threw the card back in the stack. So I'll look it up real quick here. Oh yeah, here it is. John. Flip it over. Yeah, John Hayes, K7 Victor Echo.
Yeah, K7VE. And actually, we have talked to K7VE before, haven't we? Didn't we interview him about something?
I believe he was on with Dan, wasn't he?
Was he on about ARDC?
Or no, we had Michelle on with Dan. I think we had him on for something else, didn't we?
I think we did. That call sign is just ridiculously familiar. So I'm gonna look it up on our website real fast because our search engine is so awesome.
It's amazing.
K7VE. Yeah, no, it was ARDC.
Okay, there you go.
Yep.
Oh, maybe we had all three of them on there. Did we have all three? We had Rossi Wolf was on there, and John Hayes and Dan. So we had, okay.
We also interviewed him way back in episode number 166 about a pie hat from Northwest Digital Radio.
Oh, yeah. That's a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. When did 166 come out? Just out of curiosity?
April 2016.
Yeah. So that was a bit ago.
Yeah, that was the episode before I started.
Oh, interesting.
That is.
So what were you saying? Or you had started to say something?
No, I was just going to say, there was the ARDC deep dive, and then you said that already, so. But then you said the other one, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, very cool. So we did talk with John, K7VE, and numerous other peoples. We've already gotten a couple of new subscribers out of it, and a lot of YouTube followers, and some merch sales and everything else. So at least it worked out in that way. And
we even had Cheryl got a QSL card from him. Eric,
you want to say
Guth?
who? Yeah.
Yeah, Eric Guth. Where's that 1UG? Stopped by the booth. Actually, I had talked to him the day before. I ran into him over at the ARDC booth. I was chatting with Dan for a little bit, and then of course Mr. Cuso today shows up himself, and we had a good chat. And so we're talking about possibly participating in the September show. So we'll see. I heard a lot of good things about this last time. But yeah, we'll see.
Well, if he can find a way to accommodate our sort of live content, that would be great. So
yeah, I think I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, I could record like a pre-video, and then we just have an extended Q&A thing. So at least, like, worst case scenario, there would still be some content up there to share. So that might be the best thing to do in general. So anyway, I'll I'll start that ball rolling, and we'll hope for the best, and we'll give it one more try.
Absolutely. We're nothing if not flexible. So
we just had to take one off, right? We only took one
that's
off,
right.
I think.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it's just one.
I think it's just the one. Yep. All right. So we did have some other folks come by the booth of note, I guess. We had Ed N2XDD of the M17 project. He actually came by several times and gave us lots of stickers and buttons and magnets and harassed everyone. And but it was very good to see him. We always loved hearing about the M17 and where they're going. And it looks like they have a lot of progress. They're talking about where they're going with hardware and software, and asked if we would, catch up with them and tell us what's going on since the last time we talked to the M17 project. So obviously we'll do that because they said there's tons of stuff to update us on. So obviously we'll want to get that out there. Let's see what else. Who else came by? Thinking.
Ooh, long-time listener, Tony.
Yeah, he was in and out most of the time that we were there.
Yes, he was definitely at the booth a lot.
He did go on a hunt for a 2-meter duplexer for me, but nothing sort of came of that. I was told that at the Hamfest that I'm going to on June 4th that there should be 1 or 2 cell wave duplexers there, so I might see what's available.
Yeah, I think Tony bought some goodies though, right? He walked away with some kind of station thing, didn't he?
He had a power supply.
That's right, the power supply. Yeah, the desk power supply, or test power supply, I should say.
Yeah, the test power supply. I know he was looking for a system station monitor. That's right, but did not find one. However, one of our newer listeners for us, KC5CNT, found a station monitor and took that. Yeah. But he was at the booth for a while. We had a good talk with him. That was great. And then Hutch came by, K9KJN, because we didn't get the opportunity to visit him in Indiana. He visited us in Ohio and actually sort of hung out and chatted with people at the booth for a while I wandered around in some of the other buildings. I think I left Bill there, but you wandered off too, didn't you?
No, I stayed there.
You stayed there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that way him and Cheryl could just chat away while I was pretending to be busy.
Yeah. Well, he was giving booth visitors, he was joking with some of the booth visitors, so.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And he also brought us a boatload of food. We have Creole shrimp and andouille sausage and pralines and pecan pie and way more stuff that he should have brought with him. But we ate as much as we could of it there, and then we brought the rest of it back, and it's, as I understand it, it's dinner after the show.
Yes, yes it is.
So we had to keep a cooler full of ice with us the whole way back just to make those shrimps happy.
The shrimps,
and they're so good. They're so good. So thank you, Hutch, for that. Really appreciate it, and thanks for hanging out at the booth. It was really good to see you. Yeah, we had lots of people who listened to the show. Several like sort of drive-bys. It's like, love the show, and on their way to the next thing. Matt Murphy came by. Scott. Who else? Joel from the Linux Link Tech Show was there.
Oh yeah. Jeremy did too, right?
Yeah, Jeremy, former host of Workbench 360 and the thing, whatever it was before that or after that.
Something.
Yeah, the one with George Zafiropoulos and whatever.
Yeah, that's Workbench. Workbench.
Yeah. So he stopped by.
Let's see who else.
Don
Bill
Gover
Hale
stopped by.
Oh yeah, Don Gover stopped by. Yep. Absolutely.
Oh, Don. Yeah.
And our past co-host Rich.
Oh, Rich. Yeah, Rich was in and out several times, so we saw him. K0EB. That was cool to see him. He said he was going to help us pack out and then vanished. He said it was with people though. He let us know it may not happen, so it's not like he committed himself and then disappeared. Apparently he got called away, which is absolutely acceptable. What else? I went around looking at a few things. I went to several booths in the big buildings, 1, 2, and 3. I went next door to drop my ticket in the prize booth. Didn't win anything. Bill didn't win anything. Cheryl didn't have a ticket, so of course she didn't win anything. Yeah. What else?
We caught up with Gene and Shelley in Indianapolis.
Oh, that's right. We met them. BX8AAD, our listener from Taiwan, who's also an American and just happens to live in Taiwan, and his lovely bride, Shelley, caught up with us in the parking lot of a liquor store, rather appropriately,
Woot, woot.
outside of Indianapolis on the way back from the show, because they had just flown into the States a few days before and had not had a chance to make it down to Xenia. So we saw them on the way back, and that was cool. And we saw
anything good at that liquor store?
No, we didn't even go in.
No, Shelley suggested, she's like, they seem really busy. Russ should go in and check stuff out. And he's like, no, I'm good. So
They had a pretty good selection there, but no Eagle Rare.
Yeah, probably. So
Because I stopped at that spot to get gas. And I was like, oh, the liquor store is like right next to the gas station. So
nice.
I'm like, I'll go check it out while I'm here. So I did leave with a bottle of something. What the hell did I buy there? Rossville Union. I bought another bottle.
Oh, you bought another bottle of Rossville. Alrighty then.
And a big jug of Old Forester 100.
Oh, Old Forester 100. That's what I drank last night at the cigar bar. But that's neither here nor there. So
yeah. I like it. It's good. I like it. I dropped those bottles off at my office, so those are my office drinks now.
those are the while I'm working liquors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Day drinking.
And of course, there were lots of other people who came by the booth. Too many to name everyone. I hate to leave anyone out, but there were lots of people who were not listeners, many people who were, several people who sounded interested in the show. Lots of people took cards, scanned our QR code, and left donations. We actually have lots of donations, enough to sort of recompensate for some of the issues we had, like the broken TV, which hopefully is going to get fixed, and the rest of it's going to go back into our fund. And that fund is going to be, as I believe we've decided, to be turned into a prize fund to give away for our 500th episode, which is coming up, not too long from now. It'd be nice if it kind of fell right around our anniversary. It might.
We could probably make that happen. We just need to skip a couple of episodes.
Well, it doesn't have to be exact, but I have a feeling it'll come around pretty close to the October time frame. So
yeah.
So just briefly on that, we want to let people know, because we haven't done a contest in a while, but if you're a paid subscriber to the program, you automatically get an entry into any drawings we do. So nothing else. And if you are not, then we'll have some other way to get drawings that don't violate any laws. So we'll figure out what those are in the future, and we'll let you know how to do that. But if you're already a paid subscriber, you're already in the drawing, and we'll of course let everybody know what that's going to be as soon as we pick out whatever the things are. So there's that. Now back to him.
Very specific.
Yes, I don't want to be too specific, because honestly, we really don't know very much right now. We just know it's going to be for episode 500. All the rest of the details are yet to be determined. So I can't think of anybody else specifically who came by the booth. I would like to acknowledge everyone who did. We had a really good time. Lots of talking. Building 5, I think we discussed this while we were there, seems to be the loudest of the buildings because of its low metal roof, and general foot traffic. So sometimes it's very hard to hear. I think by the middle afternoon of the first day, my throat and Bill's throats were both raw.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure mine actually recovered until we got home. But
yeah, I think today is like the first day that my throat wasn't kind of still sore. It's like we talked so much that first day, and you have to talk so loudly. Yeah, it's just like, I was like, I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, I have not done that in a while. See, that's the nice thing about doing a podcast, is you don't have to speak loudly at all, because the microphones do all the work for you. But Yeah, not the case at Building 5 at Hamvention, for sure. So there was a lot of shouting, but I think there was a lot of good information. We got a lot of good interaction. And while it felt like the attendance wasn't quite what it was 3 years ago, I think it was still good enough to make it worthwhile. And I really enjoyed it. On the plus side of all of this, it was just nice to be out amongst people again and doing that thing we do every May in Ohio. So I enjoyed it. So we haven't heard much from Cheryl. Anything you want to expound upon?
I'm still trying to recover on my sleep.
Yes, you did not get much of it, although you did get plenty on the way home.
Yeah, why? Because I conked out in the car and pretty well slept the last 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. Bill and I had the ability, especially Bill, to basically go, I'm going to bed. And I wasn't far behind him, but Cheryl had some sleep issues, but you made it.
I survived.
You did survive. Anything else besides lack of sleep?
No, it was nice seeing the people that popped by. Nice meeting, our listeners, the ones that I hadn't already met. Nice chatting with people. And, other than that, every year we always, decide on, next year we should do X. So, I think there's going to be some possible booth changes next year, which will maybe help with the screaming that everybody has to do over the noise. But, hopefully anyway. But
yeah, we'll have to draw up a new plan for the booth maybe and see if rather than doing a front table, we do sort of one of those booths you can walk into to interact instead of over the table. I don't know how intimate we want to get with, everyone who comes through, because I see some of those booths, and when they get busy, everyone stacks up inside them. That's the only thing I kind of want to avoid, but it does get tiring after a while of shouting across the table because some people are just naturally soft-spoken. Some people, it's just hard to hear in there in general. And so, maybe we just need to bring a PA. We can just shout over everybody.
Well, Ham Radio Deluxe next door has one.
Well, that's true. But they also brought an infant.
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, we didn't really hear much out of the infant.
He was very well behaved.
Very well behaved, considering all the commotion going on around him.
Yeah,
or her.
I would say probably like a year old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing about a year. So,
but overall, go ahead.
Luckily they can conk out in the middle of Hamvention chaos in a chair and had a nice nap. I was kind of jealous.
Envious. Yeah.
I want my binky and I want to sit down and fall asleep.
Yeah.
So did you see anything or of note wandering around? I know you did wander around a little bit. I don't know where you went or what you did.
I tried to run through every building, but the booths are so packed full of people, and I saw a little bit from the aisles, but being in a wheelchair with 9 zillion people in an aisle, you don't move very well and you can't see very much. But it's the one thing I did notice. I didn't wander that much, but it seemed like there was a lot of open booth spaces that didn't, either the people packed up. This was when I was wandering on Sunday, so I don't know if people packed up Saturday night, several people, and left, or if they just didn't show up at all.
Yeah, I wandered around on Saturday when Hutch was there, or Friday. When was Hutch there?
Saturday.
Yeah, it was Saturday. That's right. And in the 3 big buildings, 1, 2, and 3, I did not notice a lot of free space. So, every spot that there was a place to put a booth had a booth, and there was something in it. I think there may have been.
they may have just packed up Saturday night then and left.
That would not shock me at all. I mean, that's pretty much par for the course at Hamvention. There's a lot of vendors who just don't stay for Sunday. So
yeah, some of the clubs too. Some of the club booths closed up and stuff like that. So that's not too surprising, really. I guess we're going to talk about booths a little bit. A couple of surprises, or I don't know if they're really surprises, but obviously Kenwood wasn't there. So yeah, nobody got any Kenwood pens this year, or pins. And the other one that was kind of surprised to me over in Building 1, there was Tentec. And I was like, didn't they like sort of close or something? Or I was over there talking to Dan about that, KB6NU, and we're like, what the heck are they doing here? Didn't they just send out that they're not fixing any radios anymore because there's no parts? So it looked like they had like a table of radios in like a 2 booth thing that they had there. So that was just kind of surprising in general. I mean, I like Tech radios, so I mean, I had nothing against the company. It's just that they've gone through such changing hands and everything else, and it was just really surprised to actually see them at the show. Yeah, I remember walking by them because they were. I remember seeing them, and they had like 4 or 5 radios lined up, and I was like, okay. But, and then there was Tom. We all talked to Tom, W5KUB, who was there, but apparently didn't do his usual thing for whatever reason. Yeah, he wasn't streaming, and I'm not quite sure. I didn't get the gist of why he wasn't, but he said he really wanted to kind of get around and enjoy Hamfest because he never gets the chance to actually do it. Even though he streams and gets around doing that, he doesn't get around to actually enjoy it himself. And maybe that was the whole reason behind just going there and hanging out and talking to people and not having to be bothered by his, spending all his time with, what he does and just being able to enjoy it for himself. And, I sort of get that. I think there might have been some other issues too with the connectivity issues and stuff. So I think there was like a sort of a double thing going on, and he just took advantage of not doing it. But I'm sure he's probably explained it on his show, and I just haven't caught it. I did catch. I think I got the week before or something like that show, or just the end of it, but I didn't get any information on why he wasn't specifically recording. I just noticed that he wasn't. And he just briefly mentioned what I just said at the show. So yeah, absolutely. But and I will say that we wound up going with the wireless internet this time, and Bill had a computer that could rebroadcast Wi-Fi so we could connect multiple devices. And I feel like that actually worked well enough that we can do that going forward, so not have to worry about the extensive cost of the wired internet and all that stuff going forward. It's much more affordable to do the Wi-Fi, and I think we were able to do everything we needed with that. So it should be the way we go going forward. And if things go the way they are, or the way they have as far as our listener support, it may be the case that we no longer have to do those fundraisers in order to get there anymore. We may be able to do it entirely on listener donations without that. I'm not without a separate campaign. Yeah, without a separate campaign. So we kind of crunched the numbers a little bit, and it looks like it might be possible, but we won't really know until February next year. But I think that might be the case. So it's kind of a nice place to be. And yeah, that's great. I want to definitely thank everybody who supports the show for us being able to do that and not have to keep hitting everyone up for more money so we can go hang out and like drink in a booth. Well, they don't pay for the drink. No. They only pay for the actual infrastructure. Yeah. All of the things that would not be considered a business expense is covered by us. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we would not do that to our listeners, but we do appreciate the support
It really helps us out a lot, and it lets us go to events like Hamvention, which hopefully, the way things are going, I mean, I see no reason why there won't be a Hamvention 2023. So, hopefully we'll see everybody at that. And we have tossed around the idea of going to probably one of the other big Hamfests between now and the next one, but we'll just have to see how that goes. So, of course, more information on that will always be forthcoming as soon as we actually know anything. Right now, I'm just like speaking off the top of my head for no reason at all. So,
why are we making this podcast longer? We said it was going to be a
okay.
Exactly.
Well, we can end it right here. So, because honestly,
any final words then? Let's see.
I heard several people actually say that there were 30,000 plus tickets sold, which sounds to me like a number that was bigger than 2019. I want to say 2019 was like 28 or something, 25, somewhere in there.
Well, there's a difference between tickets sold and
being bought.
Up,
right. No, I get that.
Yeah, and I think they always sell a lot of tickets, and plus, there was a huge prize at the end of this one. So, they had the $20,000 Dream Station, so a lot of people were enticed to buy some extra tickets. So I think they did get quite a few ticket sales that were related to the big prize.
Right. Yeah. Well, they put the tax valuation on it at about $20,000. So somebody got a lot of gear. One thing I did notice, I went down through the list of like hourly prize winners and, the grand prize winners and stuff. And I looked at the ticket numbers that were drawn, and most, if not all of them, were really early. Like 4-digit and real low 5-digit numbers.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that speaks to anything in particular, but it does make me want to buy a ticket for next year early. Because I think the odds are better somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I watched the big, what do you call it? When they have all the excess stuff that people didn't claim, so all the unclaimed prizes, and they flip through a bunch of numbers at once, and those were all over the board. So yeah, it looked pretty random from that aspect. You'd have the 4-digit numbers and then a bunch of different 5-digit numbers coming through for all the excess unclaimed stuffs that were given out at the end before the grand prizes were drawn.
Yeah. Well, as is customary, I won nothing. So
yeah, me neither. So,
so anyway, that's it. So I don't have anything else to say. The show was fun, like it always is. It's exhausting, but it's a great time. We got to see lots of people. I enjoyed the hell out of it, and I'm already looking forward to 2023. So that's how I'm going to wrap up for me.
I'm right with you.
All right. Any final words, Cheryl?
We have to do this again.
Well, no, I guess you don't have to. You can sit at home and sleep.
Nah, it's too much fun.
It is. I wholeheartedly agree. All right. Well, go ahead.
You and Bill didn't even sing your favorite song this time either.
No, we'll save that for next time.
Yay.
Yeah, next time.
Great.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and thank you very much for if you went to Hamvention and you saw us there. We really appreciate it. And if you're a new listener, welcome to the Madhouse, and we hope you enjoy going forward. And with that, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this one up. This has been our Hamvention 2022 wrap-up deep dive, or whatever you want to call it, episode number 468 of Linux in the Ham Shack. We hope you have a great week, and we'll catch you in the next one. I'm Russ, K5TUX.
I'm Cheryl, W5MOO.
And I'm Bill, NE4RD73.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Linux in the Ham Shack. LHS is a community-sponsored podcast. Our website is located at lhspodcast.info. You can support the podcast by visiting the LHS Patreon page at patreon.com/LHS podcast, or by using the contribute list on the homepage. We have a presence on Discord, Facebook, IRC, Twitter and YouTube. You can also drop us an email at info@lhspodcast.info or leave us a voicemail at 1-909-LHS-SHOW. That's 1-909-547-7469. Visit the online LHS merchandise store at shop.lhspodcast.info for fun and fashionable show-themed merchandise. Until next time, remember to always heed your hedonism.